Being tiny is difficult for a lot of reasons. It can make you easy prey for a variety of large predators. It can limit your own food sources to plants and even smaller animals. But being small is especially difficult for warm-blooded creatures. Because of biology and physics, a small mammalian body works overtime to keep warm, even in the hottest climates. For the world's smallest mammal, it takes a lot of coal to keep their engines running. But a voracious appetite and the skills to maintain it are just what a tiny beast needs in life, death, and taxonomy. Welcome back to Life, Death, and Taxonomy. It's 30 minutes of interesting animal info. I'm Joe.
And I am a little bit sick.
Again?
I know. What is this, the third time this year? I'm a once-a-year kind of guy. And of course, I'm sick again. But you'll hear it on my nose, which is just the best. But I'm also Carlos.
Wow. And today we're talking about a tiny mammal with a big appetite. But more on that later, like a lot more.
Yeah, that's going to be most of it.
Yeah, most of it.
But yeah, we're talking about the Etruscan shrew. I'm going to have a hard time saying this, I'm sure, partway through. Like, I'm going to say Etruscan shrew.
Etruscan shrew.
The Etruscan shrew.
Okay.
But it's time for the naming of the shrew.
Ah, nice.
Other scientists, other than me and you,
Of course.
call it
Equal scientists.
Yeah, peers.
Just a parallel.
Esteemed colleagues.
Just a lateral move over to these other people.
Yeah, they call it the Etruscan pygmy shrew, or
Okay.
the white-toothed pygmy shrew. Which is, pygmy means little.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got white teeth. So all of this is good.
It whitens, yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely using Colgate. But we're going to call it here the entrusted shoe.
Why?
Because it fits. And I trust that it does. The Minister of Munch, or here's a throwaway, non-diet Suncus, because the genus is Suncus.
Okay, yeah,
Suncus,
yeah.
It's definitely not a diet. This thing is not on a diet. I mean, I guess the diet.
Well, everything is on a diet.
I guess the diet is like
Worms.
a diet of worms. A diet of worms. And so what I'm going to call it here is Etrus elba. Etruscan? Etrus elba?
Oh, I thought you were saying eat like eat just elbow pasta.
No.
That's high in calories.
Etrus elba. But so here's where it classifies on the taxonomic scale, spectrum, whatever you want to call it.
If it's a scale, then you're going to have to put like
something on the other side.
Which is like pretty light. Like a paperclip.
On one side is names, and the other side is like a paperclip.
No,
paperclip's still going to be heavier.
Paperclip on one side, Etruscan shrew on the other.
Oh, gotcha. Little tip for measure up. How many paperclips?
There's no paperclips, but it is about one paperclip. But that has nothing to do with measure up. Okay,
the best paperclip.
Yeah.
So the kingdom is one that you know, love, and are in. The kingdom of this world. Kingdom Animalia. The phylum is Chordata. The class is Mammalia. We're back to mammals. The order is, let's get this right, Eulipatifila.
Sounds cute.
Like you look patifila amazing or something.
You look patifila amazing today.
The family is Saurisidae because it dabbles in sorcery.
Oh, that stinks.
That's the major fact of this, is it's the only mammal other than humans to be able to conjure a sorcerer's spell.
Okay.
The genus is Suncus, as I mentioned before. But this is the non-diet variety, so it's delicious. And the species is Etruscus, so Suncus etruscus. Suncus etruscus. His toes are Moses.
No. The answer is no.
But since we're in the business of naming things, we might as well talk about what the collective noun is. In the best segment of this entire show, Ever and Anon, critter groups.
That's not evidence-based.
I don't need any of your sass or negativity in this part of my show. where I asked Joe a question, and it's the same question every time, and that's what's the name of a collective noun for this animal. I couldn't find something for the Etruscan shrew, so we're just going to go with shrews in general.
Okay.
Is a group of shrews known as A, a nestle of shrews, B, a burrow of shrews, C, a skitter of shrews, or D, a whisker of shrews?
What was the first one?
Nestle.
I like that. Let's go with nestle.
Final answer?
Yeah.
Wrong.
That's fine. That's a crapshoot.
The answer is whisker.
Okay.
It's a whisker of shrews. I mean, lots of things have whiskers, so it's...
They definitely do, though.
But, yeah. It's definitely not a burrow because they don't like to do that, or they're not very good at it. But let's talk about where this thing lives before we talk about what it looks like. It's pretty spread out. It kind of lives along a belt in the Western Hemisphere. Sorry, Eastern Hemisphere.
Oh, it's not the Bible Belt?
No, or the Rust Belt, or Cowboy Belt.
A rusted shoe belt?
A rusted shrew. So it lives in areas of southwestern Europe, like Italy, Spain, and Portugal, but also in eastern Europe, like in Albania and Croatia and places like that. It also lives in parts of Yemen and Oman, and it lives in North Africa, like in Algeria and Libya. It lives also in Southeast Asia, like Nepal and Myanmar and Laos and Indonesia, and it lives in India. It's all over the place.
So it's a belt, like a
belt basically spanning from like Portugal and North Africa to South China.
Interesting. Is Portugal? That's just a warm belt. It likes.
Yeah, it's still above the equator though.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because a lot of these places are very arid, but what I understand is that it likes humid climates. It's like, well, then don't go to Yemen.
Well, the closer you get to the equator, it's probably even more arid. So maybe that's why they're not on the equator.
Right, but it's still Yemen. It's still on the Arabian Peninsula. That's very arid. Same with Italy and Spain and Portugal. These are really arid climates. Like, there's not a lot of moisture in the air at all.
Maybe at higher elevations.
Probably lower elevations, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Are more humid because the density would be higher and would go down. But isn't it weird how like Southwest regions all over the world tend to be arid? Like Southwest South America is like the Andes Mountains, and those are all arid. Southwest United States is arid. Southwest Africa is the Kalahari Desert.
I wonder if it has to do with weather patterns and whatever, wind direction and some nonsense.
It's just super weird because wind, like, I don't know. Even Southwest Australia, like that Perth area, it's pretty arid. And then like Spain is arid.
Well,
crazy.
I'm sure there's a reason.
Crazy stuff. All right, let's talk about what this thing looks like. It looks like a shrew. End of story.
Except size down.
No, that's it. It's just a shrew. But like
extra small.
Like most shrews, Etrus alba looks like a stretched out weasel mouse. Stuart Stuart Little's shady cousin that can't hold down a job and constantly asks you for money.
Except they aren't as closely related to mice as they are to like hedgehogs and
elephants or something.
Get that out of mind.
They're not really that closely related to mice, which boggles my mind because they look exactly like mice with long noses.
Yeah, the elephant thing is like, nah. No. It's like that whale thing. It's just like some bonkers.
There's even an elephant
Although
shrew.
I think there's a DNA like similarities with elephants.
I imagine there's DNA similarities with
But
most
like we
of
have
these.
DNA similarities with bananas, so whatever.
Some similarities. Is it significant?
I don't know. I don't know what significance is.
We might be bananas. What if that's the truth all along?
We're not primates. We're bananas.
We're bananas.
What an ironic twist. Like our main prey
twist.
as a primate. It's actually
a prey.
Yeah.
I like the idea of just a chimp hunting a banana. You got to catch them because they're slippery little devils. So it has a long, conical head. We're talking about the shrew, not the chimpanzee.
Or a banana. Although they are pretty conical at certain points.
But they don't have heads. And it has a proboscis. So like a little mini trunk that is mobile, so it can move it around. It's not entirely prehensile, so it can't grasp things, but it can still move independently of its face. And it has little white whiskers that come out.
That's nice.
Which almost make it cute. Some pictures of it are cute, some pictures of it are not very cute at all. It has beady black eyes, which probably contributes to the not cute part, and large mouse ears, which is kind of cute. It's covered in brownish gray fur, and other than that, I mean, that pretty much describes a lot of shrews, but like you said, the difference is that these boys are so small.
Uh-huh. How small are they? Oh,
Who
I'm
said
glad
that?
you asked.
Who's in here?
I feel like that brings us to
It's just the two of us.
the listener's favorite part of the show, until empirical evidence shows otherwise. The part of the show where I pose quiz questions to Carlos to convey the animal size and dimensions in relatable terms. Welcome back to the season of woe, the season in which the questions are harder and more relatable than ever. It's also the part of the show that is introduced by either a listener or an animal. If you would like to submit your own Measure Up intro, just say, sing, or bark the words Measure Up into your phone's recording app and email it to ldtaxonomy@gmail.com. Today we have a new Measure Up from an entire family.
What?
The Briggs family, to be precise. Without further ado, the listener's favorite part of the show.
Boisterous.
Very good. Were there like harmonies in there? I don't know.
Energetic.
They sounded good together.
I like it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Briggs family.
Thank you to all the Briggs family, every single member.
And every Briggs family ever.
No, this one most of all.
Okay, but this one most. That was great.
Yeah. Send in Measure Ups just like that. That's all we need, you know? It's great. Let's move right into length. Only I'm going to do you a little favor and just not include that tail. Length without the tail.
Okay.
It's between 3 and 5.2 centimeters, or 1.2 and 2 inches. Let's call it an even 2 inches.
That's my favorite.
That's
my favorite inches.
Yeah. How many of the world's largest recorded eyelash go into the Etruscan shrew?
I would have thought it would be the other way around. There's some freaky, 13-inch eyelash out there, and then I would have to find out how many Etruscan shrews go into it. So this tells me that this eyelash is pretty normal. I don't know. How long's my eyelash? 1/4 of an inch? Seems right.
Okay. Well, here's a hint.
So
Scientists say the optimal length for your eyelashes is 1/3 of the width of your eye.
Okay, I'm going to disregard that. And I'm going to say that the longest eyelash is twice as long as a regular eyelash.
Okay.
Which is 1 inch.
Okay.
So, that would mean that 2 of these bad boys go into one Etruscan shrew sans tail.
Okay, the correct answer is a little less than 1.
I got it right.
2.7 inches is the longest one ever. So, about...
No, I got it wrong.
Yeah.
I got it very wrong.
Yeah.
I think you said a little less than 1 inch was the longest eyelash.
No. That's how many go in.
Oh, 2.7 inches is a long eyelash.
Yeah, it is.
Still.
That is a long eyelash. It's not optimal according to scientists.
That's that's unfortunate.
Let's move into width. I mean, weight. It's not very wide. But let's talk about weight. 1.8 grams, or 0.063 ounces. Thank you, Imperial System. If an Etruscan shrew was worth its weight in gold, how much would it be worth?
Wait, I have to estimate Wait, no, I don't. I just have to estimate how valuable gold is.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you this. The value of gold has more than doubled since 1915. I wonder if that has anything to do with the history of the tow truck. because the tow truck was invented in 1915.
And then they're like, it's time for gold to go through the roof.
Yeah.
We're going to start making these bad boys out of gold. It's very, very bad material to make a vehicle out of, but still we're going to do it. I don't know how. I remember looking at the price of gold once, but I don't remember how much it was. I want to say it's $1,000 an ounce. Yes. I'm saying an ounce is $1,000.
Okay.
Which makes the rest of this easy. Ish.
Just divide that by 0.63. Or 0.063.
There's some conversion that I'm not doing right.
You can use a calculator if you want.
So what, this thing is about like 14 or 15 of them go into an ounce. So that means it is 1/15 of an ounce. That makes sense. So that means 1/15 of $1,000 is, I don't know.
That's hard to do in your head.
Yeah.
You can use a calculator for that if you want.
If it was 1/10 of, okay, here we go. I'm gonna take 1/10 of $1,000, which is $100, and then I'm gonna add half of that to it to get to 15. So I'm gonna say $150. This should be no. No, that's not right.
You went the wrong way.
I did go the wrong way. I don't know. I don't know. What times 15 equals 1,000? I have to figure this out. I can't do this simple arithmetic right now. Something times 10 equals 1,000, that's 100. And so it's less than that.
Yeah.
So the answer is 50.
Okay, yeah.
$50.
That's all you needed to do was lop off some...
I was going the wrong way. I had a mental block. The answer is $50.
Well, you were right about the value of gold being around $1,000. It's more than $1,000, but less than $2,000. I forget what the number actually is.
That would be important to know.
The correct answer is $86.69 as of the time of this recording.
So it must be more than $1,000.
Yeah,
it must be like $1,400.
Yeah, it's something like that.
That's significantly more. All right. Now I'm going to go buy some gold bullion. Right now.
Yeah. Well, that's all I got for Measure Up.
All right. We're done with that. That hurt. It hurt my brain thinker.
I have a beefy major fact, so if you got any fast facts, let's make them even faster.
First, I want to tell you a story.
Okay.
It's a story of when I went to Animal Kingdom.
And saw a shrew.
And I saw a hippo.
No, that's not a shrew.
And there were two hippos behind it. And it emitted the most explosive diarrhea all over the two hippos that I've ever seen. It churned the water. I thought that there were like some fountain had started.
That's how they say hello.
And then it dove under the water, and then the hippos that had been so horribly violated attacked the first hippo.
I would too.
And then we drove away.
What does that have to do with shrews?
It doesn't. I just wanted.
Oh, it just happened.
I just wanted to say an animal story.
That was this weekend.
That was this weekend.
Oh man.
And I put here, tell hippo story, but I meant to do it earlier on, so this is a good time for me to tell the hippo story.
Okay.
That was my hippo story.
Okay.
Anyway, the diet of the Etruscan shrew is mostly insects, worms, lizards, frogs, and other rodents. When I say other rodents, I mean just rodents, because it's not a rodent. The shrew is not a rodent. Even though it looks like one, it's not. So it eats like mice and stuff like that.
Okay.
Or specifically the young of these of these bigger boys. But some are as large as Etrus himself. And he hunts with touch, using his whiskers more than he does his own sight. And here's some fast facts. They are solo animals, and they are territorial. So they will display aggressive behavior towards one another unless it's mating season. They tend to be more active at night, and specifically just before dawn. And they are sexually mature at just a month old, 2 weeks after their eyes open. So they're like flies.
Babies having babies.
Yeah. Whoa.
In this case.
Yeah. All right, I'm done. I've said my piece.
Okay.
Your turn.
Anyone who's ever held a hamster or a rabbit, or maybe even a small dog, knows that little animals have quick heartbeats. And it's not necessarily because they're a tiny little creature being held by a giant creature.
They're not terrified?
No. No, well, they could be. If you're being aggressive, stop. If you're being aggressive, stop. Put them down. Small mammals need fast heartbeats just because they are so small. And that has to do with body temperature regulation, metabolism, and geometry. And here's an explanation of why that is.
I don't want to use geometry. I'm already so bad at arithmetic.
I'm not going to ask you any geometry questions.
Thank you.
Generally speaking, mammals and birds have a unique ability to control their body temperature purely by burning food for energy and heat. Food and oxygen. And that's called being warm-blooded. Instead of just using food to replenish their energy reserves and heal their bodies like reptiles, they also use it to generate heat. Through your metabolism, you and your hamster convert food and oxygen into chemical energy. But do you know what in your body converts food into energy?
Mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell.
Yes!
Yes!
That's correct.
That was a
mitochondria. Like your computer, when a fan is broken, mitochondria heat up as they work, like a machine that's running hot, For mammals, this is really good news, because just by eating and breathing, which you had to do anyway, you stay warm, which is great. However, as much as you need heat to stay warm, you also need to release heat or you will overheat and die, which is why you run outside for a long time. If you don't drink and cool off, you'll have heat stroke, and it's not good.
I don't like it.
Animals' physiologies are built to help in this process, directly related to their own size. So small things have more of their total mass touching the outside air, so they lose heat quickly. Large things have more of their mass on the inside, so heat from the center of the body takes a longer time to cool down. To test this scientifically, heat up a flatbread pizza and then a thick calzone. The center of the calzone will stay piping hot way longer than the middle of the flatbread.
Okay.
Makes sense?
Yeah.
Follow?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if you have a dog that is twice the size of a hamster in terms of length and width, he will have way more total mass than just twice as much.
That might be the smallest dog in the world.
Why? I'll tell you why. Because of geometry. 5 times 5, or 5 by 5, like a 5 by 5 square, 5 by 5 foot square, is 25 square feet, right?
Yes.
So a 10 by 10 foot square is 100 square feet. So even though it's only twice as long and wide, it's 4 times larger in terms of square feet. So the larger an animal gets, their total mass increases exponentially. So large animals have more innards and inside area than small animals.
Exponentially more, not just...
Yeah, exponentially more. Didn't I say exponentially?
First, but then you just said they have more. It's like, of course they have more.
Yeah. Exponentially more. So it's not just twice as more. It's, huge amounts more.
Which is why you can't suddenly make a mouse, 6 feet long and have it be fine.
Right.
Because it's not meant... its mass...
Its physiology and the way its body works doesn't help with that. It's not good for that. And that's why elephants have these huge ears that are flat surfaces, so there's a lot of surface area for heat to escape. And then you have rodents and rabbits and smaller mammals that live in colder climates. They are covered in fur, and they're usually they sit in these little balls, Mm-hmm. So it's just they're one unit, and their insides keep warm,
They increase the area in their... They try to keep the area inside as
thick as possible,
yeah.
Rather than the outside surface area.
Right.
So that's why you also, when you're cold, you pull your arms in, and you're not standing arms akimbo, taking the cold like a champ. You're keeping your organs warm and stuff like that by pulling your arms in close, mm-hmm. and not letting heat escape. So what does that have to do with the shrew? This Etruscan shrew, to be sure.
I trust you'll tell us.
I will. Such a tiny mammal has a huge percentage of their total mass exposed to the outside air. It loses heat rapidly, way more quickly than larger mammals. So this little guy runs at a normal body temperature that's similar to a human's, at 34 degrees Celsius or 93.2 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's tiny, you're big, you have the same body temperature.
Mm-hmm. But this guy's 2 inches long.
Or relatively the same. To compensate, the Etruscan shrew has to fuel its mitochondria so that it can burn hot constantly. Their bodies are oxygenated with breathing up to 80 or 800 times per minute.
Whoa.
Humans breathe 12 to 20 times per minute. By comparison.
That must just sound like one breath.
Yeah. But also, their hearts pump blood at a rate of 120 times per minute. No.
That's not...
1,200.
I was going to say, like, that's...
102,
that's like
1,200 times per minute. So it's like, if you look at that, it's just like it looks like it's vibrating. It doesn't even look like a heartbeat. Just like a vibrating little thingy.
That's like one time when the Flash vibrated his heart so much that Batman thought that he was having a heart attack, that he had flatlined, but really it was his heart beating so fast.
And what happened to him was that his blood squirted out his eyes, and he melted from the inside out.
No, Batman got concerned and then he escaped.
Oh, okay. Magic.
Yeah.
So that takes care of oxygen, but what about fuel? Etruscan shrews need to eat 200% of their body weight each day. I tried to find out what humans do, but everything I found seemed ridiculous.
I don't know, just add up what you eat in a day in poundage.
But it's supposed to be like 4 pounds.
4 pounds worth of food?
Yeah, about. Like 4 to 5. But then I did the percentage for that, and it's like 2 or 3% of your body weight if you're like 180 pounds.
Yeah.
And elephants eat 4% of their body weight.
Okay.
So, I mean, in terms of size comparison, it doesn't really make any sense. But they might have more demands. There might be other factors.
There's probably like a threshold of smallness.
Oh, you know what it is? They eat freaking grass. It's not very nutritious.
I hate freaking grass.
That's probably what it is. They eat way low. Their food is way lower in
but
calories.
They have to eat a lot of it.
Yeah. So in terms of weight, it's bigger, but in terms of calories, it's smaller. So that's the equivalent. What a Etruscan shrew eats is the equivalent of you eating a Belgian waffle with butter and syrup every minute all day long.
That is bliss. I want to be an Etruscan shrew
until your like stomach bursts.
So they just burn. They turn this into energy that fast.
Yeah.
They probably don't even poop.
I mean, you still produce, like, you still consume stuff that your body can't use.
They can't use 100% of what they eat.
Yeah.
Probably.
So they can starve to death in as little as 4 hours.
That's bananas.
Yeah.
Speaking of bananas.
Yeah.
What? That's crazy. So they can't sleep for that long.
Huh?
They have to consistently be... And they're predators. So they don't just eat berries and stuff that like, oh, I found a bush, I'm good for the next day.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, they have to constantly be finding new bugs and lizards and stuff.
So this principle is why Ant-Man could not work. One of the reasons.
Well, and also why that one movie where Matt Damon gets turned into a tiny man and put into a tiny house.
He would freeze to death.
Immediately, and also
unless they
starve.
also sped up his heart rate and everything and like did all that.
But then he would need to eat as much as the shrew.
Yeah.
Huh.
And then if Ant-Man is huge, his body temperature would... If
Ant-Man is huge, he would crumble under his own weight.
That, and he would, like, overheat and die.
Yeah.
Because his heart rate is too fast, and his mitochondria is too fast, and it burns too hot for it to escape.
Because he doesn't have enough outside versus inside.
Yeah.
Ant-Man is dumb. It can't happen. It's not real, folks.
Spider-Man, that's real.
That's science. Wow, the Etruscan shrew. Still, I'm just trying to wrap my mind around a full-grown mammal that's 2 inches long.
Yeah.
It's like the size of a small frog.
I saw a picture of it, or compared to an earbud, like an apple earbud. It's like that size.
I think that makes it inherently cute, just being that size.
Yeah, smallness.
Yeah.
Even if it's got an ugly little face.
I mean, like, roaches are that big, too, so it's not really that...
But
just being that big.
Well, being a mammal, like, puts you in a whole other category of cute. Like,
being the ugliest mammal, but being small makes you a lot cuter than the most beautiful cockroach.
I think the ugliest mammal is probably more beautiful than the most... Or not... About the same as the most beautiful bug.
Oh, really? Like a butterfly? Or...
A bumblebee?
A butterfly and a naked mole rat.
Yeah. I think naked mole rat loses, actually.
Compared to I do think the naked mole rat loses.
What about like a little fuzzy bumblebee? They're adorable.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
I thought you were saying that every mammal is more beautiful than every insect.
That was my original thesis, but then I remembered naked mole rats and remembered bumblebees.
Bumblebees are very cute sometimes, unless you look at them really closely. If you see like them up close with like not an electron microscope, but just a close up of their face, they look like horrific insects that would destroy humanity. But anyway, so that's it for the Etruscan shrew, I trust. True. So for you out there in Podcastia, keep your heart rate up. Don't be picky. And make sure you're getting enough food like the Etruscan shrew here in Life, Death, and Taxonomy.
If your appetite for interesting animal info is as high as the Etruscan shrew's appetite for bugs and stuff, then it's a good idea to subscribe. Then you could get new episodes to your phone, hot and ready, each week. Also, did you know that the number of reviews you have can help you climb up the iTunes charts? Leaving a review can help us grow and deliver more spicy morsels of animal knowledge to more shrewd listeners that are looking for hot new edutainment. Thanks for listening and engaging.
Perfecto.
Life, Death, and Taxonomy is my favorite in the world podcast.
Leaving a review's hard to say.
No, it's not.
It is. It's the hardest word ever. That's it. That's the outro.
Cut. Send to print.
Here we go.